we go. Here goes nothing.
Wilbourn. Offensive. Oh, hang on. Yeah, I've got an idea. Is the whole thing going to be an Australian accent?
Oh, no. I was going to be good.
Sorry, everyone. It's going to be rubbish now, so there you go.
The big thing this weekend is NXT Vengeance Day, let's be honest. Okay. I miss your lovely face, ooh, and that body. You're giving me the thrills, baby. Come to NXT every Tuesday night. You can hit that pose, Ricky. Oh, Ricky, what a pity you're with A-Dub. We all know that you're great, but DK's giving you the snub. Oh, Ricky, you're so pretty, can't you understand? It's guys like you, Ricky. It's guys like you, Ricky. You're absolute Ricky Lou, Ricky. Come to the Fed, Ricky. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WhatCulture, joined by Adam Nicholas and Phil Chambers from WhatCulture.
That was an easier route for you there, wasn't that? Just, oh, Ricky, you're so fine, you're so fine. Yeah. Hey, Ricky.
I think we could
right there.
Do that, and we'll do it at the end. We're here to discuss all the goings on in wrestling this week. Before we get into it, though, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts, where we review Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2K. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week complete with a very good quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Adam Nicholas and Phil Chambers to talk about Ricky Starks. Ooh. He's free. Well, he's not anymore.
Free.
He's free from AEW. Now he's jumped in terms of the news broke on what? Literally Tuesday?
Yeah.
And then by that night, he was...
Definitely hadn't already been in talks with WWE under contract to AEW. Definitely not. No, they wouldn't do such a thing.
I love how
contract tampering. What? No, never.
Phil, come on.
The contract came together so quickly. They were like, "Can we call you Ricky Starks? Let's just say he's here and he's absolute."
Yep. I don't know what they offered him. I think he literally just would have taken anything.
Yeah.
At this point, it's like, yes, just get me out of this place and
box seats for WrestleMania again, or yeah, I think it's. We'll talk a little bit more about the other departures from this week. Well, across both companies, I suppose, since we last did WrestleCulture in a bit. But Ricky Starks was the most obvious jump you've ever seen, and I mean, he's ready for the main roster. Obviously, it's not like he needs any sharpening up in NXT, but it's a busy place right now, and that WrestleMania card is very complicated.
Yes, I think anyone joining a main roster now would probably not be in a great position to keep it going very long. So I would just hold back. I think a little run in NXT is fine in this situation, just to get past WrestleMania and let all the stories that are blatantly already in place pan out.
Yeah.
Before you enter in there and then end up being, they've got nothing for me because they've already booked 3 months in advance.
Yeah.
And like this. With
the Andre.
Yeah.
The complete spoils they have already, that it's looking like someone should probably miss out on that card right now. Like even someone who's a big name, but we're trying to squeeze everybody on and it's getting complicated. That sounds like their own fault. Like, think about the difference between, say, I mean, his debut was excellent, and so far he's been handled really well, I would say, but Penta.
Yeah.
You've got a guy like Penta and you're thinking, I'm sure they will find something for him, but at the minute, that is one busy card. And is he a name that is immediately on your list of, like, someone to have? I mean, I would have him on there, but I'm thinking, what kind of high-profile match is he going to be in?
It's one of those as well. I think we're so in the bubble that you're like, Ricky Starks is the best. Obviously, he's going to do wonders, and he will do amazing things on main roster.
He's definitely proved he's got the chops. Whether or not, for me, it's the WWE adage, but I actually think it's true here. How much can he make that happen on the main roster of WWE? Because I know it's a different regime now, but it's still absolutely jam-packed. The problems you had not being able to get the top spot in AEW will not have magically gone away in WWE.
Yes.
In fact, spoiler, they might be worse. Like,
probably, yeah.
Obviously, he's going to have someone like Punk who's going to have his back. He's going to have someone like Cody who's going to have his back. But they ain't going to give up their spot for him.
Nope.
Like, they are not going anywhere. They are still going to be at the top of this company.
He'd be a great US champion.
This is it. You've got to get realistic with it. So him going to NXT makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And that men's division, NXT. I don't even watch NXT. I listen to the wonderful NXT review that you can get on YouTube every single week from these boys on the podcast. But even just from that, it's blatantly obvious that the men's division, which was relatively stacked at one point, has dwindled off in replacement of, and not a bad thing, the women's division is now thriving in terms of the talent that's there. But the men's division is like, we need somebody to really add some electricity to this, Ricky Starks will be perfect for that. And if it's in NOLA as well next year,
yes,
like, and he doesn't get the jump too quick to main roster, he might want to think about main event NXT potentially.
Why not?
That would be pretty sweet for him, I would imagine.
He's also very much going to be in the quite stacked category of wrestlers with massive, massive chips on their shoulders and something to prove.
Yeah.
Because he is not going to want to come and coast. He is going to want to show...
Well, you hope not.
Well, you would assume he's not. After how desperate he was to get out of AEW, you would assume he has got something to prove while he's in WWE.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the interesting stuff about that Fightful Select report about WrestleMania 42 in New Orleans, following, 30 and 34, I think they did there. I've never been to New Orleans.
Me neither.
Didn't get to go to those WrestleManias, obviously, but they looked incredible. And now a two-nighter there would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I have never been to New Orleans, so I am more than up for going on a trip to New Orleans. Everybody, as we go to New Orleans.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you recall, actually, it would have been the first year that we were all together. Us three, certainly, were together at WhatCulture. Mm-hmm. And I'd been to the last 2 Manias myself outside of WhatCulture, and it was just after all the guys had left.
Yep.
So the bosses were like, nobody's going nowhere, actually. I think we'll just wait this out, because I don't trust anybody anymore. Shout out to the Culthouse boys. Hope you're all doing well.
You did 33, right?
Did 33. Did 29 as well.
Of course, yeah.
WhatCulture as well. I was very last minute added to that trip. It's like, we need someone to film the wrestling show.
Yeah.
Phil, you want to go to Mania? Yes, please.
Yes, please.
So yeah, missed out on 30, but it's becoming a bit of a staple, this New Orleans.
Yeah. I just Googled.
Great place,
as well.
I Googled New Orleans April weather, and it stacks up with the notes we were comparing in the immediate aftermath of Philadelphia. Highs of 26 degrees, lows of 16. Celsius are weird. Centigrade, Celsius? That's the wrong way around, isn't it?
Celsius is us, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it should be fine weather-wise. They're never going anywhere
Never
neither.
going north ever again.
No, they are
Unless you're like
Unless you're inside.
Yeah.
Or unless you got a lot of money.
Yeah. This is the other thing.
But yeah, I really like the sound of that.
Yeah, me too.
Potential there is
What's not
ridiculous.
like? I mean,
What's not like? Big Pipe Town.
I remember that specifically had some of the best at the time. I don't know if it's... No, I would still say so now. The graphics that they were doing for that at the time for WWE, what a nerdy thing to talk about.
I know.
The graphics thing was just incredible. The
stages as well for both of them.
Yeah,
really.
stages were amazing. The all
anywhere
the
they have
card
like
stuffs.
a town that has like a gimmick they can lean into, they usually do really good stuff with the stages.
Yeah. Like,
the
we have a colour
Hollywood
scheme.
one. The Hollywood one was great. The New Orleans ones were great.
Yeah.
I assume Vegas is going to be mental.
Oh my God.
It's quite exciting. When they just built New York. Buying that wax.
It'd be funny if it would be really objectively funny if for Mania 41 they just stole all the Double or Nothing things.
Big stack of chips, please.
They've got WWE still
Big sticker on it. Busy week though for comings and goings, because Ricky Starks wasn't the only one to leave AEW. Miro and Malachi, probably soon to be Alistair Black, both leaving. Inevitable, those, weren't they?
Yeah, for very different reasons. Miro thing has been in the background for ages, probably longer than Ricky Starks. In terms of like not being used,
but
and,
being very
what is
quiet.
Going on.
Just
but he's been much quieter than Ricky
yeah.
Starks have. But like blatantly not happy, catching that paycheck and waiting for his moment to get out, I guess.
Some real similar parallels to the place I expect he's running away to, potentially. Like, if I'm him, I'm like, I need to have a good stock take here.
Yep.
Because this has happened twice now, and it's two different companies. For two different reasons, I would argue, probably. And at least in AEW, they gave him what you really felt was like, he has the ball, run with it as in the TBS champion slot.
Yeah.
Not that they didn't do a lot with Rusev back in the day, like when long-haired Rusev when he was still
until Cena destroyed
when he
him.
was before they changed him from from Russia to Bulgaria or whatever it was. Like, just make it up as we go along. Actually,
yeah, the tank.
I'm from Russia. What's that tattoo on your arm then?
And you really need to if I'm him, I'll not be jumping into anything too quick. I want to make sure, because that's
again another guy. He won't be in the position he was in when he left WWE. I mean, obviously he'd fallen, but like he has with Miro, he's gone out and he's proved that he can do other things that isn't what WWE were doing with him.
Yeah.
Like, very much so. So he has more in his sort of character bow than he did before. In terms of things to play off and things he can do on the main roster in WWE if he was to go back.
Not a wasted development at all going to a different company, for sure. But
had the opportunity to try new things.
He must be feeling like, what do I have to do?
Yeah.
Because like I don't know. We're never going to be privy to the conversations that I assume have been happening quite a lot in the AEW recently of like, why is this person not on TV? And a lot of people just not having answers. You hear talk of like, too many names, and like basically like an entire locker room full of people, but you've only got so many hours on telly. So it'll be fascinating to see if he just immediately jumps back in. If I'm him though, I would be and I'm not, so he won't care what I think, but take some time.
Yeah, I mean for Miro, depending on the paycheck, I guess New Japan seems like a really good place for him to be.
It just feels like
wide open,
anyway.
innit?
Yeah,
feels like
he could figure out what exactly it is.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel like he'll be jumping ship. Well, obviously not as quick as Ricky Starks. No one jumps ship as quick as Ricky Starks. But like, yeah, he can definitely take his time and figure out what
got one foot on the boat
wants.
while he's like, yeah, I'm happy to go. That's fine. Cool. Bye.
Mark Labat, though, he's obviously going back to WWE.
He feels like a nailed on. I think the boys were talking about this in the Fumble or No Fumble podcast, which is genuinely great. I was listening to that the other day. As much as we might get into trouble with the now defunct Door or No Door theme, apparently.
Dead now.
Well, as long as you're singing really loudly over the top of it, I think it's fine.
But it feels like a nailed on sort of night after WrestleMania. Not saying you have to do the palette with the the candles and what have you.
It's going to be interesting to see how they do package him. Obviously, he's Triple H's boy, so he's going to be main roster, like you would assume. But again, it's stacked over there.
But he was Triple H's boy when Triple H had a regular routine of, that's my boy, off you go, son.
This is also
Say
true.
goodbye to NXT. It's time to die on the main roster.
It's like, I can do nothing for you.
It's not that anymore. It's if you're Triple H's boy, and he's got a lot more of them now who are with all due respect to Malachi Black, Aleister Black, who are way more his top guy than that, and for good reason.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like, I am excited to see where all these guys go and if they can make it work. I would not be jumping to any conclusions yet, and I'd be trying to find the right fit if I was one of them.
Nothing is set. Like Cody did it at the right time.
Yeah.
When he was jumping, that was set. Like
but everybody
that was
called
happen.
him crazy at the time.
Exactly.
They called him crazy, said he was an idiot. People who shall remain nameless in this office said he was stupid and was prone to doing these stupid things, and it was the exact right call.
Yeah, exact right time, exact right call, and exact right position in the company. And built himself up and saw a gap and went for it. That gap ain't there anymore.
He's going to do it the other way. I promise you he'll do it the other way at the right time, because that is only going to get more and more full. And this, he must know the run he's on right now that's the reward run.
Yeah.
Like for all this time and all the choices that he's made that have been correct, starting a different company, etc., etc. Soon, everybody in AEW doesn't want to be there anymore is going to have either gone that way, or they're going to have gone somewhere else, or they're going to quit wrestling entirely, and they're going to need a poster boy, and it's going to be Cody Rhodes.
That was what I was going to ask you, in fact, because like I think Ibu was alluding to this sort of thing, and I know it's a little bit of a concern in some WWE fans. It's one of those things where, for me, like I see the names like Malachi and Miro and obviously Ricky Starks, and I go, yeah, sign them up straight away. But there is a bit of, right, that's what AEW fans did. Oh, they've gone from WWE, snap them up. Oh, this person's contract is run out in New Japan or TNA or wherever, or they're just this big indie star, sign them up. Is there a danger yet of overcrowding? Like, you already know how many compromises are being talked about for WrestleMania. I don't think we're at that level yet where you're like, you cannot sign any more new people. Because like you say, you can, for the time being, spin those plates in different ways. Jordan Grace, right, we're not going to put you into the main card straight away because we've kind of got Charlotte and Tiff and Rhea and whoever, Io and Becky and people like that to come in. Yeah. So let's just keep you in NXT for that unbelievable women's division they've got now with Julia and Stephanie Vaquer ready to go up as well. Roxanne Perez.
I'm not Sidgwick, don't point at me.
you just hear us talk about it a lot.
I do, it's true.
But
a lot.
You can't just say, oh, put you over there for a bit. And I know like shows have extended, but then SmackDown goes back to 2 hours, I think, in the summer.
Yeah.
It's not a concern yet, but it is getting to that point, isn't it?
It definitely will do. I think it's easier in WWE because the brand split is more definitive. I know they screw with it like quite a lot, and then you get the weird trading deadline things that they were doing for no apparent reason, just as an excuse to do some things. But like SmackDown is its own roster, Raw is its own roster largely. So there's two spaces there, and I know like Collision and Dynamite is a little bit, but it's
not the same.
Not the same,
respectfully.
Yeah. And then for the Ricky Starks of the world, or like other sort of lower down people, I guess, you've got the NXTs. That is, again, its own roster, where you can go prove yourself within the WWE system and wait for the right creative to get up onto the main roster. So there's a lot more there in terms of a system that can support more people. But it is, like we say, it's already crowded at the top. The middle to the top is very, very crowded.
Real crowded.
Already on both shows, all over the shop. And WrestleMania is proof of it, where like Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, like that as a rumored match, and everyone's like, that's not like big enough for Drew or whatever. And it's like, well, where else is he gonna fit in this card? Like, you've got to get him in there.
Your personal career trajectory, having to try and line that up with the ones that like these top guys. It's like obviously your Punks, your Romans, your Codys. If you're Drew, he's got to try and tailor his own expectation to get to that, if he wants to get there, around whatever they're doing right now, which seems impossible.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you want to be a team player. But at the same time, if you miss the boat, you've got to... It's so hard to get right, because if you miss that... But he had that feud of the year last year, and he must be going, this feels like I'm going back again.
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes it's the way that it lands. And it's unfortunate, but you need to bring back this idea that not everybody just gets on the Mania card. Like, there needs to be... Don't try and compromise. Don't try and compromise for all of the people. Just be like, without upsetting people, write it down on the card. Who do you want? What's your big matches? And then after that, you go, how do we fix the headaches? Is there any we can't fix? Is there some we say, I'll owe you an apology, and you've got like first dibs in next year,
or like, some bigger SummerSlam, for example,
or bigger pay-per-view, something else, or give them a story to work with, or something, and a promise, a handshake, and it might not work out, but it's the thing you got to do at the time. Similarly, though, with the signings, I think they really do have to reach a point where you have to say, like, if you are, not to always use football, soccer analogies, but like, if you are only allowed 22 players in your team, I know you like the look of all of the thousands and thousands of footballers that are out there, but you got to pick 22 and pick 22 that fit together well. There has to be a point. There's got to be a point where someone is such a good pro wrestler, and they have to just say, look, I'm really sorry, it's just not the time.
Yeah.
It's not the right time. There's other opportunities, go and do, maybe the slots will open up. But
you don't have to, do you? It's not like they're going anywhere. Like,
that's it, you don't have to do it. People are like, oh, you'd be a fool to not sign them. Why?
Yeah.
Doing pretty good without these people. Like
Miro going to New Japan's is such a perfect example of that, of like, you've not wrestled for, I mean, when was his last match? I don't even know.
Pass. Hard pass.
So not even just go over there and, try and rediscover what character you want to be when you come back here. The door's always open, sort of thing. But also get some reps, because I'll look this up actually. Miro.
It'll be a long ass time.
2023, maybe, is it? Can't be that far.
There must be something.
The last one, it would be this, but the last one I can genuinely think of that comes to my mind is him and Brian. I know it wasn't that, but that's the last one of his I actually can remember off the top of my head.
When was it?
It was the Andrade match at World's End 2023.
Sheesh.
Oh, wow.
So it's been over a year.
Insane.
That is ridiculous, yeah.
So, yeah, I completely agree with that. And the thing I have as well, and I don't know if it's me overstepping the mark here, I like to think I'm the most optimistic out of the three Dudleys.
Oh, easily.
You like to think it.
I mean,
like
one of them normally
sits,
obvious. The one who normally sits to my left is certainly glass half full most of the time with regards to WWE.
He's very giddy, but by his own admission.
And I get the panic around like, oh, God, are they going to WrestleMania 2000, WrestleMania 41? But then, and I know I'm not there having to be the person to sort of do all the politicking and stuff. I do think people need to remember what we were looking at a WrestleMania card less than 5 years ago.
Yeah.
About like,
for sure.
Oh, well, we've got these two matches that will probably be all right, and then some other stuff. Now, you're like, I'm excited to see how do you manage that, 4 world title matches. Unfortunately, the women not main evented either, let's be perfectly honest. Yep. And if you put certain people in certain places, you then also got to factor in, like, let's say they just do, wishful thinking perhaps, but Cody versus CM Punk. Well, then what does Seth Rollins, Drew, Roman, Cena do?
I had a thought about this when you guys were talking on the podcast earlier today. It wouldn't solve it, but an idea that I like is that, so Elimination Chamber is obviously there, and there's a lot of people are assuming it might be Cena because they think that's going to be. I like the idea of him maybe just continuing to fail. Like, I like that. I also have kind of, after they didn't pull the trigger on him at the Rumble, I'm kind of into the idea that Punk is failing, right? And this idea that suddenly this parallel of John and Punk failing at the same John, my good pal John. Yeah. And like this, anyway, long as I don't know how you would do it at the Elimination Chamber, but what if somehow you end up with maybe something like an opener on night one, and it's, I mean, you're asking for a lot of guys to go on in a smaller slot first, but I love the idea, that visual that they did in the Rumble. They made a big song and dance about it. Roman, Cena, Punk, Seth. Why not just be like, them 4 guys are somehow suddenly magically in a match, and the winner of that match, like, gets somehow added to something else. I don't know what, but like, obviously
Brian at WrestleMania 30, but for very different reasons.
For very, very different reasons. But like, obviously you'd have the person who won the Elimination Chamber who would technically be the person who's getting Cody, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how you would work that
Yes.
in.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of people to leave out, but it's a great way to get, I don't think.
Well, unless you take one of those 4 out and put Drew in that spot, and let's say, you know, Cena's done it, whatever.
Right, yeah.
And then they makes it a triple threat. But like you say, it's how people feel about it all. For me, it's really obvious, as I've said. Punk, Cody, Cena versus Logan Paul. I don't care. It's this last WrestleMania.
But they do. That's the problem.
Yeah,
and we don't care, but this is a huge deal for them.
Yeah.
If I'm coming back for 1 year, I'll be doing a title match at
But
WrestleMania.
he has to do something big, and that's the thing. We might not buy into it. We might think, it's a lovely little slot for him to have that against Logan Paul. It ain't what he'll want.
No.
And not even necessarily what he'll want. It won't be what they'll want.
Yeah.
His legacy's humongous in WWE. So they'll want him doing something huge if he's signing off, I think.
This is the thing that confused me from the very beginning of the John Cena retirement tour thing.
Yeah.
Of like his last year. He said like 2025 is going to be my last year in wrestling. Like 2025 ends with what pay-per-view? Like there's Survivor Series and then there's whatever happens in December.
There'll be a
what it's called.
Ruthless Aggression pay-per-view.
Maybe, exactly. So it's either they build an entire pay-per-view around John Cena's last match, which is like a thing they could 100% do. Like you could sell that as your own thing quite easily. But it's also like 3 more months till WrestleMania again. Like, are you not gonna retire at WrestleMania? You're John Cena. Like, what is a bigger deal? I don't.
You might have a farewell in the ring.
Yeah,
Maybe,
like a goodbye.
Or that would be his Hall of Fame induction or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that, which might tie. Actually, that might be a perfect way to do it. If anything,
like, come out and set his name on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have to be there because you could just say he was there, and then
you could have like a MIDI version of his theme and some like lightning coming from a big.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
I mean, the main event scene in WWE at the minute, they've done a great job of making it feel like that main event is because you deserve it. Like throughout the last sort of year or two, it's been the people who have had the best year end up being in that main event. It feels like the old adage of like grabbing the brass ring. Like that is genuinely happening backstage where people are fighting for that top spot. People are hungry for it, which they definitely weren't like a few years ago. The sort of vibe was very, very different.
What's the point in trying someone big's going to be brought in?
Yeah, but it seems like they've also done it in a very un-Vince McMahon way where the locker room itself is actually like a pretty good place to be rather than everybody absolutely hates each other and they're all stepping over each other
hates the locker room
to get to the top. Yeah.
I'm just real.
Why all friends?
Yeah.
How come you're all friends and have peace and tranquility? What's all that about?
So in that, I think they've done like a really good job of making it feel like these people are fighting for something that is worth fighting for.
It's a great headache to have.
As if you build that as a thing, you have the problem where some people are going to have to miss out. And I think the triple threat match at Mania goes against everything that you've done to build this as the top spot.
Absolutely.
And kind of diminishes it a little bit. So just make someone be a little bit disappointed, but say like, look, you'll have your chance because you're doing amazing work, but it'll just be a little bit later on.
I'm just real scared about Punk. Like last year I was like, okay, he's injured, but he's only really done a little bit. And
he might have mellowed. It might. I've said this before. It might not even be a thing for him anymore. You never
just
know.
That carrot on the end.
You never know.
You never know. I tell you what, the problem with this like nice locker room vibe, as we're hearing, and then all these people who are being like narratively created as like everybody should be someone you can conceive as a champion, and they're all after the same prize, etc., etc. It all works until like the very real like you're seeing it right this second with Drew McIntyre. I would imagine wear horseshoe, and it'll be
the egos get in the way.
Yeah, the egos. It happens everywhere, absolutely everywhere. The second the ego comes involved. And even if it's in part of the storyline and someone just feels a little bit aggrieved by one tiny little thing, or that was in their head where they had planned they were going to be doing that moment, and someone says, we're not going to do it there, we're going to do it over here, and then somehow it just gets further and further away, and those sharp fallout, man, it's hard to keep that going.
Interesting. I mean, that's where good management comes in. And if anyone knows egos, it's Triple H. So he might know how to deal with them as well.
He knows how to have one.
He definitely knows how to have one. He knows what it's like to have one.
Unfortunately, with all these names coming in, though, obviously that means some people have to depart. And we saw another round of WWE releases sort of over the weekend. And what was it, 10, 11 names? I mean, Sonya Deville wasn't released. She just didn't have her contract renewed.
Yeah.
But everyone else, AOP, Paul Ellering, Blair Davenport, Cedric Alexander, Gallows and Anderson, Isla Dawn, Elektra Lopez, and perhaps shockingly of all, Giovanni Vinci, all gone to clear spaces they've talked about through people coming up through NXT or just getting re-signed like Miro or Malachi Black or Penta being brought in, obviously. So they do have to clear space, but I think Vinci was... Some of them are less surprising in terms of how they were or weren't used on telly. Isla Dawn I was shocked by because I think she was, she only recently was a tag team champion and she's shown so much promise. And, I wasn't a huge fan of the gimmick, but you can't deny the talent that you've got there. But Giovanni Vinci was the most shocking of all, wasn't he?
I mean, after the last run-in.
Well, yeah, not shocking in that way.
Not shocking after that. It's just... The theme for a few of these, Giovanni Vinci, Blair Davenport as well. What the hell are you doing calling her up if you literally have absolutely... She had 5 matches on the main roster and then disappeared. Like, what was that? Like, don't call people up if you don't have proper plans for them. Unless something else happened that we don't know about. Like, who knows? It's one of those things of... You can't have creative for everyone, unfortunately. Like, some people are going to slip through the cracks.
Even if you're an exceptionally talented pro wrestler, like...
Yeah.
Giovanni Da Vinci is an incredible pro wrestler. I remember watching him in the early days of NXT when I was watching it and then like thoroughly enjoyed him. Like everything he does is incredible. The power and this insane athletic ability. It sometimes just isn't enough. And sometimes it's the difference between being that top tier and that like the person who's going to make the top tier look unbelievable. Or
it's going to be one of those ones that we will find out about years from now in a shoot interview of like, they had it out for me, which is what the rumours are saying. But he's certainly one of those ones where I do this sort of flip of what we were talking about with WWE of if you're an AEW fan, I'm sure he'd be phenomenal to have there. And, arguably be a fun injection of like, oh, people can go the other way. Not had that for a while. But at the same time, what's the harm in letting him have 6 months on the Indies or New Japan or wherever it may be?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing we've been complaining about with Ricky Starks for ages and like AEW just holding on to people when they're not doing anything with them. Yeah. And so you can't complain about WWE getting rid of people when you at the same time you're complaining about them like a different company holding on to people.
Yeah.
Not that it's just an AEW thing. WWE have definitely done it before.
But it goes back to what we were talking. Was it last week or the week before? I don't even know what day it is anymore. Where we were saying like that idea of it being a give and take, and it's not in the current format of like the independent contractor thing. But like
God, no.
They can just swing an axe and say all these people are released, but then you've got, like you say, on the flip side, someone holding a different wrestler hostage is the narrative of like this. It's hard to find that balance.
Yeah.
And it's really hard. In the current format, it's really difficult. And
it's the thing between like at least Ricky Starks was being paid.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
But then at least Giovanni Vinci gets a chance to show what he can do elsewhere.
Yeah.
And potentially, like, look at a million, like, not millions, but like tens of people that have left WWE. Gone on.
Millions, tens of people.
No, they've gone on, left WWE, gone on to prove themselves elsewhere
absolutely.
in order to come back again. Like, at least he's got a chance to do that. That
it is a
where
sort of
you might not
now,
get that
in
the WWE system if you're not getting the chances to show yourself.
Look
what
at
you can do.
Stardust 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't be saying, I'll tell you what, he's going to be the one who's nailed on for a WrestleMania main event, and you can worry about Roman, Punk, Cena.
I think you're finding now that AEW is like, how many years? Nearly 6 years now, right? Oh, if it's already got there. 2019?
This year, 6 years.
This year, 6 years. Like, back then, it wasn't that their rosters wasn't that, like it was had people on it, but it was begging for the next level of tier talent to come in, or someone like a Giovanni Da Vinci, if he left then, you're like, oh, perfect. Like Claudio Castagnoli leaving, it's like these perfect opportunities for you to go across there, and you get a showcase now. You will get that time. You will be spoken of and booked that way. It just ain't like that now, and it's like that somehow we're like, we need another promotion. Like, we can't just keep making a new company every time we fill them up. Do you know what I mean? It has to come down to being smart about where you're going to use these wrestlers. It is becoming now more and more. These guys and gals need to pick a one that is tailored to their character, their skill set, their type of wrestling that they like or that they can provide.
Yeah,
because there's just so much of it now. There is so much of it, and I watch almost none of it because there's almost like paralysed by choice and disappointment from the ones you did pick.
It is a bit, AW, WWE are here, and then it's kind of not everyone else. I'm not going to be dismissive of TNAs and New Japans. There are levels to it, and then your MLWs, etc., etc. But it does feel like if you're a Giovanni Vinci or, as you said, a Miro, like if you're not in one of those two companies, there is Josh Alexander's just leaving TNA. Yes, you've got Joe Hendry there doing great stuff, but there's a space for someone to really come in and break out.
Yeah.
New Japan has never been, Gabe Kidd aside, has never been in such a flux in terms of like, right, what are we doing here?
Desperate for someone to break out.
Well, we've lost Omega, we've got Ospreay. Right, we've lost Ospreay, we've got,
I do wonder, though, how many of these people who were released, TNA, having this definite working relationship that will benefit them. Perhaps one of the benefits for WWE is, and it's cutthroat to speak of it like this, but this is the reality of the situation, release them from the contracts that they're on. Obviously, we won't know how much money they were on, but I can't imagine it was a terrible contract. And then they go to TNA, and whether it's either they're going on the same money or maybe they're having to take a bit of a cut because it might not be getting the same kind of money WWE, they basically got them back off the books, and they can still use them because they'll go to TNA, and if they're doing really well, they'll say, well, let's come over here.
I guess the flip side,
a feeder club.
It's basically
it is just taking someone and putting them on a lot less money somewhere else. But at the same time,
not on your pay roll either, which is all they're like is big number companies. Just want to see somebody
that's why they do this. But as well, with the TNA thing, partnership, as much of it is a partnership. At least you in TNA, you are guaranteed to have WWE eyes on you.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. So they will be keeping track on your progress, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. So TNA have never been a better place to try and break out and try and prove yourself than ever before, because you have that direct link at least. Sonya Deville was a weird one for me as well, because the Pure Fusion Collective hasn't worked since day one, but. No. Every single time they're on TV, she's the one.
It's not her fault, Yeah,
she's the one trying. She's the one cutting the promos. She's the one with the most sort of star power in terms of what WWE tend to look for. I know they've used to have it with Shayna Baszler, but they destroyed that.
Yes, they did.
I don't know what's going on with the Sonya Deville thing. She just never had a chance to really be what she probably can be. The Mandy Rose stuff was some of the best stuff they had in that time in 2020 or whatever it was.
And it was kind of cruelly interrupted by that awful house invasion.
Yeah.
Best luck to them all.
Yeah, yes. Absolutely.
I think also Adam Zingala's in the chat. Thank you to everyone who's joining us live on YouTube, and we'll get to your comments in just a second.
I didn't realise though. Look at that.
Yeah. Adam says, hey guys, really happy to see Ricky in NXT. Hate the people are making it a bad thing for AEW because it didn't work out. Just be happy you can succeed now. Also love the fact that AEW doesn't have a non-compete. Yeah, I like that. I like being able to see someone the next night or whatever on TV.
Yeah.
I want it to work both ways, really.
Actually, he gets a lot of flack. I did this the other week, and I was saying that people were once, who were complaining about Tony Khan withholding people's releases, were the same people who were, cheering him when he had basically said, we will give people at the end of their contracts and pay them, which is very fair. I know he's like a bit more of a pantomime villain these days, but he was once everybody's favourite guy.
Yep.
Everybody's, a lot of people's favourite guy. I just think maybe there should be a conversation raised about at least he saw sense. I'm not saying that, he shouldn't have just done it immediately, but there's got to be a conversation here.
Yeah, he got there in the end.
He actually let these people go.
Yeah.
And nobody will give him anything. But I'm not trying to give him flowers.
Ray Phoenix is finally going by the sounds of it.
Yeah. I'm sure he doesn't need flowers. He's a billionaire. But the point I'm trying to make here is that these complicated conversations are happening all the time, and I don't think anybody's ever really. It's all fine when we want to just take the piss, but then actually when they do the thing, we never acknowledge that ever.
If you want flowers, buy them on discount tomorrow. So
this guy.
That's what I'm going to be doing.
Oh, I'm sure you will. I'm sure you'll be getting toasted if you didn't get anything today. You would be dead.
Hi to the boss, Mortos, who says, after hearing you guys on the news this morning, we all know Ricky is being renamed Rocky the Mid-Level Boss. Matt Rains says, happy Friday, boys. Busy weekend of wrestling, and it's NBA All-Star weekend with Bailey in the celebrity game.
I did see that, yeah.
Legends Lounge with a twist coming soon. Cheers, guys. F. Michael Oliver. That's football.
Why she's been carrying basketballs everywhere.
That's what I was...
Makes sense now.
She's actually left WWE to become a pro basketball player.
How's that working then? Because isn't she working Vengeance Day as well?
Yes.
So she's double duty.
Double duty. Are you telling me Vengeance Day is going to be
Oh, you don't say something like that.
Can you imagine? Also, Matt Rains, it's very funny that sorry, Phil, football talk. You just have a little nap there. I'll wake you up when it's done. Arne Slot got sent off by a referee, and the referee is Michael Oliver from Newcastle. And we play Liverpool in a cup final in about however many weeks' time.
Yeah, about a month's time, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think there was a lot of conversation about, is he going to be suspended for the cup final? Which I don't think he will, the way that it'll work out, but it would be really funny if he was. I actually used to play football against Michael Oliver, the referee.
Did you?
And our team used to beat them all the time. The shout out to the Block and Tackle pub in Asherton, which nobody will know.
There's a reason he's a referee and not a footballer.
Yeah, well,
from his place.
He was also the manager of the other team, so I'm like, oh, so that's why you were playing as well. Yeah, we used to absolutely toast them all the time. But he's not really ever done anything great. But this would be a great thing he's finally done. So I'm sorry, Matt.
It's going to be a very tasty week in the office that week, Phil, just to wind up all of them.
I mean, you can see he's very excited. Very excited.
I'll feed you some lines for the before and after just to test the waters somewhat.
I won't use them.
I won't be here prior because basically from the 13th of March, I'm not here.
Yeah.
Because I've got the small matter of a stag do in Amsterdam to do. 2 days for 2 days, and then the cup final to go to, where I will be rough as any.
March 31st, March 21st, Belfast, March 22nd, Glasgow, March 24th, London, March 28th, all in coincidence, is that a word? With the WWE live show tours, of course. And don't worry, if you're coming to our show, you'll still have plenty of time to get to the WWE show. And hey, then come back afterwards for Sweet Chin Disco, dice.fm for tickets to that one. And then, yes, our biggest show ever in Las Vegas, the HyperX Arena on the Friday night before WrestleMania weekend. We're going to do this big SmackDown. More Toast, who just writes, Gwar. And hi to John Catter, who says, random pitch, AW triple threat, somebody's O must go, Okada, Omega, and Ospreay. Whoever takes the pin loses the O in their name, so we either get Kazuchika Kada, Kenny Mega, or Big Willie Spray.
It's pretty good.
Yep, I know who I want to lose that match.
Me too.
Yeah, I can't imagine who it is for you, Wilbourn. Sorry, I'm still laughing. What was it?
The Beast More Toast.
It's good stuff.
Gwar.
It's all good stuff. Gwar.
Hi to Mr. Phoenix, who says, big love, sweet Nikki, full chamber, and Adam. Cheers from the forklift. My sister-in-law's fundraiser is still up. Thanks to those who've helped. And cheers for the awesome Chris Bay news. Viva Vengeance Day. Yes, great news about Chris Bay to hear. Well, last night, this morning.
Absolutely, that was a scary situation.
Yeah, real scary, man. Oof.
So yeah, nice to get some good news from it.
He was lovely, wasn't he?
He was a very nice chap.
Was that 38?
Yeah, Wally Mania.
Yeah. What a lovely man.
He was very tired.
Yes.
But still took so much time to come and chat to us. He was a very, very nice man.
It's definitely a theme. The more wrestlers you meet,
they're
a lot of tired wrestlers. And then I'm like, you know what?
Work one day,
I feel like that's going to be my next, opening intro. Are you tired too? I'm tired as well. It's good to see you. Let's be tired. Do you want to go for a nap together?
Yeah.
Not like that. Just have a nap. Just have a nap.
I'm going to butcher this. Phil, how would you say that? K-cultured arrangements. Yep. Says, good morning, guys. I look forward to seeing you at Mania weekend for the second year in a row. See you there. WhatCulture.com/tickets, just a reminder. Also, will there be a preview podcast for Grand Slam?
Oh, that's a fantastic question. One you would have to ask someone who knew what they were doing on this podcast. The answer is
Oh.
I got it on me?
I thought you were getting the invisible coin out.
How are we going to put it out? Just keep balancing in the air.
Yes. Oh.
It's right on this thing.
Just snaps it. Not anymore.
Not anymore. So,
Yes.
yes, it will be going up. I just need to do it after we've got off this podcast.
The Michaels were, the audio podcast might be out very soon. What Culture Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcasts from. The Michaels were in here recording just before we came in, talking all about this weekend, and we'll be doing a live review of Grand Slam on Monday, so do join us for that one. Hi to Eric Vasquez, great first name. Thank you for joining us, Eric. Who writes, "Fly, Eagles, fly." That's a football reference. I understood that.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Hope Eric is doing better, much better, thank you. Back to normal, terrorising his parents. Hope you're all well, studio and in the chat. Happy Valentine's all. What Culture Valentine's cards next year?
I choose you.
Why?
Yeah, that's my next question.
Yeah, why? Just why?
That'd be nice, though.
Yeah.
You give me ups and downs. No.
Let me...
Our relationship has had its ups and downs, but happy Valentine's.
Why? Here's why. And it's just a picture of like all the dirty dishes or something. So, this is why.
Top 10 reasons why I love you.
Oh, there you go. Then you have to...
The disturbing
it just gives you the
truth.
numbers and you have to fill them out yourself.
The disturbing truth behind Valentine's
The
Day.
real reason I proposed. Oh, John Harrison.
Just the text, the person I love, and then a yellow arrow pointing at them.
I like that as well.
A big arrow.
Yeah.
Can we get like a bit that you attach to it as a giant yellow circle?
Yeah.
So that it goes round the head, so to highlight the face. Okay, we're doing fancy dress outfits now as well for Halloween. That's good. This is all good stuff. It's all good stuff,
All
yeah.
good stuff.
And
Get it on the shop. WhatCulture.com.
Happy Valentine's Day to all the people out there.
Yeah.
All the lovers.
well, I'm glad
I hope
you.
you're
If you
having a
need some
wonderful
last
day.
minute presents, WhatCulture.com/shop for all your loved ones, or WhatCulture.com/tickets.
Either or both.
Both
Get them
are
both.
good.
Depends how much you like them. You know what I mean?
If you really love them, you'll get them both.
Yeah.
And John Harrison also says, "Happy Valentine's Day, boys. Sending big love to all of you. Hope you have a cracking weekend, whatever you're up to. Peace and love. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
to you, John."
I was thinking of a random thing. Please continue. I was thinking of a joke from The Sopranos.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'll tell you after.
But it's appropriate that people are saying Happy Valentine's Day because enough of all this. It's now time for a bloody good quiz.
Is it all about wrestling weddings?
It's all about
Just
sex.
wrestling love in general.
Yes.
Okay.
Romance.
The Hart family. That's the whole thing.
I want
And one question about Greg the Hammer Valentine. That's it.
good one, yeah.
And do love.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
How many more we got
this
here?
up.
Come on. Is that it?
What's his face? Jimmy Hart?
Jimmy
Sonny
Hart.
Kiss.
Another Hart, but yeah.
Well done, Phil.
I just realised.
Hart.
Bubba the Love Sponge because of the home tie-in.
no.
Nope. Abort. Cupid. Any Cupids in there? Nope. All right. Hearts, love, blood. Sex.
Sonny Kiss.
I think we peaked. I think we peaked with
Yeah,
Greg the
I
Hammer
think we're ruining
Valentine
it
and
now.
Dude Love. I got too carried away on a runaway train there and it was like, okay.
But I want to dedicate this week's quiz to Curtis Santiago. Congratulations to you, Curtis, who welcomed baby Tegan into the world this week.
Another little WhatCulture Wrestling
Yeah.
fan are coming to the world.
Dadley boys all over the
Yeah.
goddamn shop.
Curtis-
Like the bloody ECW Dadley boys at this point.
Yeah, Curtis.
Too many.
Like the NWO, that's what they're like, just growing. Pretty soon, Phil. It'll be
split
you
off
and me
into
left.
Wolfpack and-
You and me left fighting the NWO. Back off, assholes.
Curtis says Tegan born 8 pounds 12 ounces, perfectly healthy, and currently watching the morning news on WhatCulture.
Oh, that's lovely. I have to say, I'm always confused when this happens because people will tell you the weight of their child.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you have grossly overestimated how much I understand.
Yeah.
What that, they're
What
like,
that means.
Oh, bloody hell, it was this much weight. I'm like,
Cool.
oh my God. Oh, that's small. Like, I don't know.
I was
what
just
it
going to
is.
say as well, like, that's literally the only time in anyone's life where someone will celebrate their weight. It's when they're born, and that's it. Because any other time, it's like, what are you doing? That's just weird. Stop talking about my weight.
Oh, yeah, look at that weight. Yes.
It's like they've caught a fish or something.
Yeah.
They're really proud of their big fish.
Big catch, just like the kid.
I
There's a
get
picture of them holding it by the leg.
By the umbilical cord. Go on.
having had a
Sorry,
kid.
that's your child.
We've ruined it.
I'm so sorry.
Congratulations, Curtis.
Congratulations.
You can tell the ones in this podcast that don't have kids.
I will say, having had a kid, I understand the weight side of things, but I still am no closer to when people say, "Doesn't it look like so and so?" Because
Yeah, it just
that's
looks like a
funny.
little smash.
it's just a big bag of skin in the early stages.
You've got one.
I know, but I don't get it when people go like, 2 days old. Doesn't it look? No,
Yeah.
no.
I did see a friend of mine, and who will never ever listen to this podcast as long as I live. She shall remain nameless because she's a very private person. She just had her baby, and you know me, I'm not that. I like kids. I think they're cool. They're gonna have their moments, but I like giving them back to people. And be like,
Yes.
There you go. She had a baby, and I am not kidding. You know, when someone sends you a picture of a kid, and you just go, "I'm not even that guy," but that is a flippin' cute baby.
Yay.
I was like, that is like adorable little bow on the head. I was
Yeah.
like, that is one cute ass looking baby,
There you
man.
go. That is better than the rest of the 99% of the time when you have to go, oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
adorable.
Look at my kid.
This weird prune thing.
That is one large raisin. I like it.
So, 10 questions all about romance and love and heartbreak in wrestling.
I'm just thinking of Seinfeld where it's like, you gotta see the baby. You gotta see the baby. Elaine, you gotta see the baby. I don't need to see the baby. I want to see your baby, though. I'm sure it's a great baby.
Yes.
I don't want to see it like that, though. It's all gone wrong.
Very cute.
Congratulations,
We've ruined
Curtis.
this moment for him.
Congratulations, Curtis. Ah, that's good stuff.
You're just
So-
proud and
so
wanted to
good.
reach out to us.
And
Look
you reached
what
out
we've
to the
done.
worst possible people. I'm sorry. What
It's
culture
his
rest
fault
of
for
the
bringing it
podcast?
up. It's
Yes,
not our
it
fault.
is
for
just
being
like
us.
you
He should have known
remember.
better.
So, question number one. Multiple choice, shout your name, wait for me to come to you.
You could have done this on a podcast with both dads.
Yeah.
It would have been
No.
a nice moment.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Curtis.
Question number one. AJ Lee once rejected a romance storyline in WWE with which wrestler? Was it Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, or Hornswoggle?
Go through that again.
Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, or Hornswoggle. Who did AJ Lee reject a romance storyline with? She had quite a
I
few
don't
of
think
them.
Vince McMahon would ever let anyone turn down a romance thing with Hornswoggle. So
Okay.
I'm going to go with one of the Shield.
Interesting.
Don't know which one, though.
I'm going to just say out of pure nothingness, Nicholas, Roman Reigns, because she didn't want to make Roman look strong.
Oh. Yeah.
Alright.
No, dear, that's wrong.
Yeah, she
I'm gonna go
She would have
with-
jumped at the chance, wouldn't she? Jumped at it.
Seth Rollins.
Because he's a dork.
Because he's a dog. And she married CM Punk, who's like the sort of
Yeah.
cooler guy, and
Yeah.
Ambrose was always the cooler one of the two. So yeah, Seth, because he's a dog.
No, dear, that's wrong.
It was, in fact, Dean Ambrose. As
Wow.
I mentioned, AJ Lee had a variety of different pointless romantic storylines about
She had a
talent.
lot.
Yeah. So that's why the feud
You've got to feel
between-
bad when you're the one that AJ Lee turns down of the romance angles, and she had
just
like
like
5 of them.
these guys.
Punk,
Kane was
Cena,
fine. Kane was
Kane,
fine apparently.
Daniel Bryan. Hornswoggle, they did have a thing like
Yeah.
early days, and then they split because they were on different shows, but they actually were still on the same. It doesn't
To
matter.
be fair,
It wasn't Dean Ambrose necessarily that she turned
this is
down.
the
it was
point. I mean, maybe she'd been through that
Yeah.
many. She decided, I've drawn a line. I've
it's
drawn a
enough.
line in the sand.
To be fair, the Daniel Bryan one was one of the greatest storylines
Yes.
in wrestling history.
well, apparently it was related to this. So what they were going to
white
do
woman.
and think about like the stuff that she'd already been through was post Bryan wedding thing. She was gonna,
Brian Weddick.
she was going to be committed to an insane asylum and find love there with Dean Ambrose. And she
I
thought,
remember this thumbnil.
Ambrose Asylum as
yes,
well.
yes,
remember
but you know
this
what? It's
thumbnail.
slightly
Clever.
insensitive.
Did I make that thumbnail?
Not like the rest of the romance angles.
No.
Let's just glorify.
Dropped poo on her as well at one point.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're
There was a lot
adult.
of domestic abuse.
Yeah, not good.
It was fun though.
Yeah.
And that No Way Out poster, the best poster
That
in
was
wrestling
the
history.
train tracks one.
Yeah, so good.
Right, question number 2. During Rusev's dalliance with Summer Rae, what animal did he compare Lana to?
God, that man.
Was it a pig?
Llama.
A pig?
Lana.
I need to stop drinking this water. People are talking.
A pig, a fish, a snake, or a donkey? Llama was it? I should have thought about that.
He's good enough for that. Llama, the llama. Did it. Boom. Nicholas, donkey.
No, dear, that's wrong.
2 for 2. All right.
Don't think a pig. They had the whole Piggy James thing, so then that gimmick was on lockdown. Snake seems. What was the other one?
A fish.
Fish is just weird. So fish. Why not?
It was when he was getting out, he's like, there's a puppy somewhere, yeah. Then he pulls out a fish and he's like, this is like when it was like being with Lana, this cold, dead fish or whatever. All right, mate. But it is a very funny scene, and then he tries to lob the fish after.
Was it very funny, though?
I
think I actually remember the throwing of the fish.
Matt Rains has correctly quote tweeted Rusev, it's a fish. It's the way he delivers that line. It's a fish. Question number 3, 1-0 to Phil. Edge and Vicky Guerrero's romance ended several times, I suppose, but in this question, it ended when it was revealed Edge cheated on Vicky with who? Was it the wedding planner, the maid of honor, all of the bridesmaids, or the vicar?
Why do I keep doing it?
Triple H revealed this, I think mid-wedding, perhaps, on SmackDown.
I was not watching at this point.
Did he cheat on Vicky with the wedding planner, the maid of honor, all of the bridesmaids, or the vicar?
If Triple H announced it, he would probably think it was really funny that it was the vicar.
Yeah.
Like, he would be like, that's so funny. It couldn't possibly be 2 guys. That's hilariously funny. The vicar.
No, dear, that's wrong.
The wedding planner.
Hey!
Played by
Chelsea Green. Was it? Oh, no, that was Daniel Bryan.
Alicia Fox.
Is that right?
Yes.
Well.
Congratulations to Jeff Oliver and Matt Rains getting it right in the chat. Question number 4. Why did Dolph Ziggler break up with Maria? Oh,
God, these are all from an awful period that I'm glad I wasn't there for.
Is it because she forgot his birthday? Is it because she's so stupid she kissed someone else thinking it was him? Is it because she accidentally cost him the IC title? Or is it she gave him cooties?
God damn it.
I was unaware of this until I did my research.
Yeah, I have no idea. Phil, why not? Kissed someone thinking he was Dolph Ziggler.
No, dear, that's wrong.
Bet WWE are kicking themselves. They didn't think that.
That was great. Well, maybe they've wrote it down for like future stories.
When Nick Nemeth comes back.
What was the other option?
Forgot his birthday, cost him the IC title, gave him cooties.
Birthday, he's a narcissist, why not?
No, dear, that's wrong.
It was the IC title. I can't remember who he was, maybe John Morrison or someone like that. IC title back then. Come on, who cares?
Did it 1,000 times.
And
it was either him or The Miz.
Yeah. He basically had a chair that he'd set up just leaning up against the ring that he was going to grab when the referee had his back turned. I watched this, and he goes to do it. He's like, where's the bloody chair? And Maria's taken it to sit down and watch her other half's match, and then he's like, we're through. It's not you, it's me, sort of thing. Right, still 2-0 to Phil. Question number 5. Who, according to the company themselves, were WWE's Romeo and Juliet? Was it Eddie Guerrero and Chyna, Molly Holly and Spike Dudley, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, or Kane and Lita? Which was WWE's Romeo and Juliet?
Phil, because with Molly Holly, I'm just going to have to say
Go
Molly
for
Holly.
Holly.
Yeah.
It was the
Can't have the
Capulets and the Montagues.
Hollies.
Yes. There's a nice storyline that Molly Holly actually appreciated.
Yeah.
That's a rarity from back then, isn't it?
I know, right?
Yes,
Just
for
people
sure.
being nice to each other as well in a relationship in WWE. What a goddamn world.
Don't look
What
at
a
me.
goddamn world.
3-0 to Phil at the halfway point. Question number 6 from Peak NXT 2.0 this.
Oh, good.
How did Dexter Lumis stop anyone from objecting to his marriage to Indy Hartwell? Did he choke them all out before the ceremony, bribe them, threaten them with an axe, or duct tape their mouths shut?
I have no idea.
I have no idea either, but I do really like the idea of
That's
just
some good-
loads of people passed out at a wedding.
Yes.
So I'm going to go with the choking everybody
That's some good options, yeah.
No, dear, that's
That's what I
wrong.
should have done.
I thought it was going to be because he spoke at this wedding, didn't he?
He did.
And it was going to be like he left them all speechless because they'd never seen him speak before. Not an option.
With a beautiful monologue.
Did he bribe them, threaten them with an axe, or duct tape their mouths shut?
But they didn't. Oh, I've seen it though, and there was quite a few of them there. And they didn't have duct tape on the mouths. I'm pretty sure. So it's not that then, unless he did it after. But that would be weird. Johnny Gargano was there. Yeah. Anyway,
he just said it happened.
What's the other two?
Bribery or threatening them with an axe.
The axe sounds about right for the character. The bribery doesn't. Although, yeah, the axe. Why not? Yeah.
Yes, as oh no, there wasn't. I was going to say as the vicar was doing it, but I think he got choked out by Dexter mid-ceremony. Right. And what's Edge's other half called?
Beth Phoenix.
Beth Phoenix took over. She was doing commentary and was
Mrs. Edge.
Yes.
Oh, now she's Mrs. Corp. Congratulations, Mrs. Corp.
She did the Does anyone object? And he just turned around and opened his jacket to reveal an axe, which was just lovely.
To reveal streams and streams of condoms.
Just to reveal, he's naked.
Nothing on there.
Matt Rains in the chat just asking if I remember Dexter's middle name again, and I believe it was Dexter Gaylord Loomis, but obviously that's not a laughing matter.
No, of course. Dexter's Laboratory Loomis was it, right? That was him.
A real love story now. Question number 7. A beating by which team led to Perry Saturn getting a bit of a head injury and falling in love with a mop?
Oof.
Was it the Dudley Boys, Test and Albert, the APA, or Right to Censor?
Ooh, I don't remember this, but I was around for it.
I do remember his partner at the time said, "It's me or the mop," and he went, "The mop."
The mop, for sure. Yeah.
And then they put it in a wood chipper.
Because this was for... He kicked that guy's ass, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's a horrible watch.
How is it horrible watch? He kicked
One of his best
ass.
things that happened to him, really. We'll give you a mop. Okay, I've got over.
Phil, I think it's between two. So I'm going to go with...
So it's APA or...
Test and Albert. You're going to go with Test and Albert.
No, dear, that's wrong.
See, I think it's APA or the Dudleys, I think. It's going to be the fourth one, isn't it? But let's just say... I'm going to say the APA... This sounds like a poem now. Because Bradshaw... Bradshaw's like the guy in the back who kicks people's ass.
Yeah.
Kicked his ass too much, got a head injury, and fell in love with a mop.
Yeah.
It's a tale as old as time. Right, 3-2 with
that
3
head cheese. What a time to be alive.
questions left.
It just works.
What explanation did Kane give for his relationship with Terry Runnels? Was it chicks dig the mask? I light a fire in her loins? I might be from hell, but in the bedroom I send her to heaven.
And here's the one he spent a lot of time on.
Or she loves my big red monster.
There it is. Phil, first one.
Chicks dig the mask.
I think they do, yeah. Dig that
Man in uniform.
Yeah. I love a man in uniform.
Final couple of questions then. You need this to send everyone home happy.
Well, it won't bother me either way, but... but let's go for the case.
Okay, yeah.
Go on.
Question number 9. How did Otis get Mandy Rose wet? Did he spill his milkshake on her? Did a cannonball by the pool when she was lounging next to it?
Real asshole. You know?
Pushed her in a lake or ate her umbrella? Which of the ways there did he get Mandy Rose wet?
I do remember this.
Ate her umbrella. Funny. I have a picture like Kirby. Everybody.
Then it opened up.
It's either the cannonball or what was the other one at the beginning?
Spilled his milkshake on her.
It's pretty good. It's all good stuff. Cannonball. I like the idea of a cannonball.
Yeah,
Pontus Olsen and John Harrison agree with you in the chat. And
you're all wrong.
She was already on her way because they were doing the Fast Times at Ridgemont High bit. Him coming out the pool.
Yeah.
And she was all... And then he... Cannonball! Great love story,
Great
that.
stuff.
That was settled at WrestleMania as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was lovely.
And he still managed... That guy has got an insane ability to get over, man. In
Yeah.
any weird circumstance.
Yeah.
He really knows what he's doing.
On paper, that entire storyline should have tagged.
Yes.
But it was...
Rumble?
One of the most loved thing on WWE at the time.
Were we still in the pandemic at that point?
Yeah.
Because it's like one of those that really you wanted it to get its payoff in a big way.
Yeah.
And the The timing was just wrong. On
Led
telly,
to
that
Money
might
in the
be.
Bank.
Was it? I was going to say,
But
was
they definitely
did
well.
not.
was it me and you do Money in the Bank when he won the briefcase?
Yeah.
Just us on a Zoom call to each other going, what the hell's just happened? I watched two men die. They've been thrown off a roof.
Yeah.
Man, like the Miz got his briefcase, and then Tucker turned on him, and then they just released Tucker.
Yeah, that
poor
was-
bastard.
That was just
insane.
What on earth, man? Ugh.
Right, so as we all
Anyway,
know,
back to the really happy quiz.
as we all know, it all comes down to this. The hardest question of all, question number 10. Adam Nicholas, you need to get this one right.
Well, before we even get started, if it's going to be the hardest question, then you're definitely going to need to ask a boner. Phone boner, ask a boner, Maradona.
Preemptively calling out your phoner.
I would like to hear the question though first, please.
You just need
if
to tell me.
If I know the answer straight away, I'll just answer it so I can go home.
Okay. Which one of these is a real WWE Valentine's Day card? Is it
Okay.
a Randy Orton themed one that reads,
Okay.
I fell for you out of nowhere?
That's
Yeah.
good. That is the one.
Is there a Rey Mysterio themed one that reads, Booyaka, booyaka, will you be mine? Booyaka, booyaka, let's 69.
I knew you were going to do it.
Is there another one that reads,
Hey, if that's only his second one, imagine
I
where
know.
he's going after this.
Well, I know why he probably was going to find them on the internet, the dirty gibbon.
your other option, on a scale from 1 to Bret Hart, how hard do you want to get screwed?
Yeah.
Or finally, a sort of Seth Rollins themed one, good old fashioned. Roses are red, violets are blue. I'm an architect with an erection for you.
Yeah, it's good.
I'll leave that in the hands of the chat. Which one of those do you think is a real WWE Valentine's
I know
Day
which one. I
card?
think I
You
know which
are
one
a
it is. but-
father.
Yeah.
Really happy with that.
Just really happy with that. Well, son, that's me paid the bills
Bill,
and also
I think it's
delivered
the
the goal.
Booyaka 69, please.
Okay.
Ching!
No, dear, that's wrong.
It is correct.
Matt Raines writes, it's all okay stuff in the chat.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
And Brian Weddig, the he behind the SmackDown Photoshop, says, I think it's Randy, but to be fair, they're all pretty Randy.
Hey,
See what you did
see?
there.
It's all good stuff.
So yeah, I fell for you out of nowhere. Booyaka, booyaka, will you be mine? Booyaka, booyaka, let's 69. On a scale from 1 to Bret Hart, how hard do you want to get screwed? And Seth Rollins themed one, roses are red, violets are blue. I'm an architect with an erection for you.
Have you just like started doing the last question on the assumption that we're trying to draw? So you make it like as easy as possible with 3 really fun answers for yourself. I feel like that's the pattern that's
I couldn't
emerging
care
here.
less what the score is in the quiz at this point. This question
yes,
10's for me.
because obviously-
It's 9 for you.
Because
Not
obviously
for you guys,
me and
it's for
Phil
him.
extremely want, like both like, we're desperate to know what the
Desperate for
score
that
is.
draw.
Always remind each other. Remember last week when I won the quiz?
Yeah, every week I'm like, yeah.
There is
The secret
one
tally.
person I used to play 5-a-side with who do
Yeah,
that.
there is.
Really needs to let that one go.
Yeah, there is.
Hey, Larry Robs just flown into the chat.
Hey, Larry.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you for your donation. Very generous. Late showing up. Everyone, please have a wonderful weekend. A new heel legacy, Randy, Cody, Sammy, and KO. Jesus, Larry.
My God.
Kill everybody.
Can't drop that at 4:25 on a Friday.
What's the stable called? Bob Holly. Beat everybody. Yeah, what's the chat saying?
They're all leaning towards
I got stuff to do.
Randy Orton's I fell for you out of
Yeah,
nowhere.
Randy Orton, for the record, is the one I thought of. It's the one that it's definitely it. Press the goddamn button. Let's go.
There we go.
Did it, everyone.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody, and congratulations to Adam Nicholas and Phil Chambers, co-winners of this week's quiz. Love here at WhatCulture. Let us know how you got on in the comment section or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Watch there, you can follow all 3 of us. You can follow Adam Nicholas at...
It's Adam Nicholas, baby. You can also follow Phil Chambers at
Fill my chambers. And you can follow Adam Wilbourn at
Be one of the cards, Phil. I want you to fill my chambers.
Hey.
Fill My Chambers.
Get it out. Can I print it?
Get it out.
Let's get it out. Let's go home.
You can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE, as I said. Make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. The SmackDown preview and the Grand Slam preview are available, if not right now, very soon at least. And whatculture.com/tickets if you want to get tickets to our world tour. But for now, this has been WrestleCulture. My thanks to Adam Nicholas, to Phil Chambers, and thank you for joining us. We will see you soon. WrestleCulture is recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Happy Valentine's!
Get it out.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. WhatCulture.com/tickets to join us for more of this sort of thing on the World Tour.
Exactly this.
Yeah, let me go on
With Simon
highbrow
Miller as
quizzes,
well.
yes,
Yeah.
and with Simon Miller.
That's what we need that on a big billboard. It's all okay stuff. So What Culture Live.
Get it
It's all
out.
okay stuff and Simon Miller.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Enjoy Grand Slam. Enjoy Vengeance Day. We'll be back talking about all them next week. And I'm glad you asked me that. March 21st, we're in Manchester. March 22nd, Belfast. Then March 24th, when Raw emanates from Glasgow, we'll be there. And then the Friday after that, March 28th, we're in London. And then, just a small matter of the Friday night before WrestleMania, we are playing the HyperX Arena in Las Vegas. We're going to be doing live versions of Ups and Downs and podcasts, Q&As, meet and greets. You can meet all of us, get your photo taken with all of us and that sort of thing. WhatCulture.com/tickets. Woo! Right. Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend. See you next week. Bye.
Bye. Get it out.